For me, it's a little bit different because I also work in healthcare. So we grew up watching ER together, life in the ER, and getting all excited about all the things that were coming in. But I think for a woman who isn't in that realm, it could be very difficult to pick up on the signs, because he would come home and he would tell me about the bad calls. You know, he opened up immediately about the bad things he's seen, the bad things that have happened.
Which is rare.
Which it is rare, but I think it is rare because I'm also in it, you know, and I can come home and I can tell him, like, I had a terrible day yesterday, and I came home and I told him all about my day, and it makes me feel better. He understands. Yep. He understands. He's seen it. He's done it all, you know. So I think for us, it's really different. So it's hard for me to speak on that, but I would always just encourage women to just listen. Really, truly, if they want to open up, listen, or encourage them to talk to somebody, because I can see when he's cranky. I can see when he hasn't slept. Not really good at, you know, picking up on some of the signs that I probably need to stay quiet about some things, but I usually do just, you know, ask him, you know, hey, how was your night? What happened? You know, and he has always been great at opening up about what's happened. And I think that's another thing that we have in common with each other that kind of helps us get through the hard days at work. You know, so for us, it's a little bit different, but for a woman whose husband is new to the process, maybe just encourage him to talk to her. Even if she doesn't really want to hear it, just listen. We don't have to fix their problems. Yeah. We're good listeners. They're good fixers, you know?
Well, I mean, this is a question for you, Chief, that has there been a time that you've come home short of sleep, that your girls were on the receiving end of, you know, you not being, you know, an ideal father, and that you felt afterwards, man, I wish I had handled that differently?
Oh, absolutely. Even the frustration of maybe it wasn't a bad call, it's a challenging employee, you know, just that you're having to deal with as you go into leadership. You know, you have challenging employees, you have challenging things that occur at work, even outside of going to a call, and just kind of, instead of walking through the threshold and flushing it all, it's going to come with you. So they're challenging to you because they're 4, and it's a lot of stuff you dealt with yesterday of having a struggle with an employee, and now I'm having a challenge with my 4-year-old, and the same tactics do not work for a 4-year-old that do for a grown man. And it's really hard to separate that sometimes. And there's a lot of times we had fights. She's like, I'm not one of your firefighters. And it was really hard for me to go, okay, I have to completely turn off Chief and turn on Dad. Yeah. And there is similarities, but there are stark differences between them. And sometimes they were on the receiving end of something that they probably shouldn't have been. And I tried to manage them with tactics that don't work for a 4-year-old girl. And it didn't work out. And all that did was add frustration to me, thinking to myself, you know, this is a stupid problem to have. Why didn't you handle this? Because I can have that conversation with an adult. I can't have it with a 4-year-old. Yeah. And those were the challenges of where those two worlds collide. And it's really, really hard to walk through the door and get rid of all of that and try to become a different person. And really it's about understanding that there are two different worlds. And, you know, something I had read recently about, you know, withdrawal doesn't mean that we have problems. I might be withdrawing as I come home because I'm dealing with something challenging at work. But she looks at it as, okay, there must be something wrong with us.
Yes, women read into things.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
You know,
and then we get insecure, and then it ultimately ends up causing a fight or an argument or a discussion of like, what did I do? Right. And that's hard for me because he's very good. He can be quiet. And when he gets upset with me, he doesn't want to talk to me, right? And I want to talk, and I want to keep talking, and I need you to talk to me. And he's the opposite. So that's another thing I had to learn, was just give him some time, give him some space. And I still find that a challenge.
Yeah, because I think it's about almost resetting, because sometimes it has nothing to do with us, but I need a way to process and get rid of what I'm dealing with to be able to be 100% committed to spending time with you. So I'm not always, you know, kind of thinking about what I'm dealing with. So having a couple of minutes sitting in the car in the driveway, just kind of going through the thoughts of, okay, now I'm home. It's time to turn on husband and dad, and let's put this on pause for a minute. Because if you don't have that couple of minutes in the driveway to yourself, and it drives her bananas, but I literally drive constantly with the radio off, because she's like, I don't understand how you can sit here so quiet. Like it's almost awkward in the truck sometimes. She laughs about it. She's like, are you gonna turn the radio on? But I'm processing everything through my head because I'm just trying to get rid of everything that has nothing to do with us, so I can be 100% involved with the two of us. And, you know, if she could see what was going on in there, it would probably make it a whole lot better. And so I've tried to be more intentional about communicating with those things. Like, hey, I'm just kind of dealing with some challenges right now. Just let me get through it, and then I can be 100% committed to you.
Yeah, he never turns it off. That's the problem, you know. He goes from one job to the next job, and the next job never ends, right? So the phone. So we take dinner time, the phones go away. Everyone at dinner, including our children, sit at the table with no phones. Even when we go to restaurants, phones do not come out. We sit and talk as a family because that's our only time to shut it off, right? I'm like, I need that hour from you. You know, I need that hour because I know the rest of the hours are taken with other things that are still going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, and she could probably say the same worker in the emergency room, but our job's relentless.
Relentless.
It doesn't care. It just doesn't stop. And it wears you down. And whether you're dealing with it on your own or dealing with it with someone else, it's relentless. And you got to recognize it's relentless, because sometimes we just take the beating, you know, the old saying is, you know, morale improve or the beatings will continue until morale improves, you know, and it's like, okay, those two things don't go together, but it's not just morale at work, it's morale at home. And it's relentless. And you have to accept the fact that you're going to have some time to yourself and communicate with your spouse to say, here's something I'm dealing with right now. Here's something I'm going through. I just need just a couple of minutes to help process it. And that's why I said sit in the car in the driveway by yourself before you walk in the door. Because I don't ever want to walk in the door and say, everybody hold on, I need to go deal with something. Because the kids don't care, especially when they're little. They're at the door waiting for you to come in. You know, and for me, I didn't want to be that person who's like, okay, I'm just going to, you know, go through the motions, but I'm not really committed to spending time with them.
Wise words for every first responder that, you know, with both of your situations, there's no warning. There's no rest, because at any moment, anything could drop in both of your fields. So you deal with that on, you know, a full schedule. Then you come home, and for someone to take your words to heart and spend 5 minutes to reset and to be dad now, that's so wise. So I hope that many get to see this and actually put that into action.